Hello. All right, welcome to our latest edition of Office Hour. We haven't held any Office Hour for quite a while, so yeah, this is kind of our new approach, so that we can have a chance to kind of have our users, Ragic users, talk face to face with one of our staff, or usually usually me. I'm the founder of Ragic, so I think this would be a good chance for us to talk to to our users directly. And so, if you have any questions or any suggestions on Ragic, or if there's anything that you would like to learn more about Ragic, the product or the company or anything, just feel free to ask your questions on the ask question sheet on the stream description. So feel free to add any questions here, and I will be answering your questions in these order. All right? Okay. So what we plan to do with these office hour webinars is that we plan to hold this kind of webinar in a bi-weekly basis. So we're gonna hold a webinar every 2 weeks, and we're kind of gonna switch around different time zones, because we have a lot of different users in different time zones. So we're gonna have one more focused on users around like this one. This is more intended for users from Singapore, Australia, and New Zealand, around the Asia Pacific zone. And we're gonna have another one for the European users, and another one more geared toward our US users. So we're gonna try to hold this type of webinar in different time zones, so that our users in all different time zones have a chance to join us and ask questions and listen in on the questions that other users ask. Because in our past experience, users tend to ask similar questions, and when you're listening to the answers to others' questions, it might inspire you into, oh, okay, this is something I could do with my database, to get some idea on how other organizations are using Ragic to help digitize their overall workflow. So yeah, we think that this could be a good approach for users to kind of learn how other companies are using Ragic, or what problems other companies are facing when they're using Ragic. So yeah, we do hope this will be a very useful. And if you have any suggestions on this webinar format, this kind of office hour webinar format, feel free to let us know on the comments or as a question. Yeah. So this is kind of a new way for us to do the webinar. So feel free to give us any suggestions. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first one. And yeah, so since this is kind of a new series, so we don't expect a lot of questions in the beginning, but so we'll just see how it goes. All right, the first question is, why can't you cut and paste rows in a subtable? Huh. Well, you can cut and paste rows in a subtable. You can copy rows from a subtable into like Excel or other places, but right now we don't support pasting into subtables if the subtable needs expanding. So for example, if you're copy pasting from Excel that has like 20 rows, and if there are a lot of rows that you're copying into a subtable, then yeah, currently we don't support auto expanding the subtable on paste yet. So you could still paste individual cells, and that will expand your subtable, but the paste will only expand your subtable row one by one on each paste. So yeah, this is something that we currently has not supported yet, but yeah, we might support it in the future, but there should be some technical issues with this, because a lot of times the subtable row, the format might not match, and there's just some exceptions that we need to take care of for this kind of copy pasting into subtables to work. So the short answer is that this is currently not supported yet. This is not supported yet, but we may support it in the future. All right. Okay, checking the first comment. All right, next question. Okay, reports need to be able to use colors and also column shading. Reports are hard to read when there's a lot of data on the report. Okay, let's see. They have attachments. Let's see the attachments. Not. Okay, so this looks like oh, this is kind of colored, so I assume this is a grouping report. Yeah, this looks like a grouping report. And what's the other one about? This is the PDF. They have a PDF and a Word file. Okay, let's see the PDF. Maybe download the PDF. Yeah, I don't think the upload was. Yeah, but we can still see this. So yeah, as well as adding the ability to use colors and shading. There are times when it would be useful to be able to create calculations on reports. Well, yeah, yes, it may be useful, but that's gonna be pretty hard. It's like building a whole spreadsheet interface on the reports. We already have a spreadsheet interface on our UI, but I'm gonna assume it's gonna be fairly difficult to add the calculations on the report. But there's kind of an easy workaround for that, because if you generate a report, basically you could just select all and paste it onto Excel, and you can do the calculations there. And I think that would be a much easier way to work around this issue, because most of what you see, most of the reports that you see, for example, let me give you a short example. Like if I generate a report from this, like maybe a grouping report that you just talked about, and status, create report. Oops, group by status. Create report. So yeah, this is not. You could always copy paste this into Excel to do some further processing. I know this is not like ideal, but this is a workaround, because it would be really hard for a product to like just add calculations on report. It's a fairly big undertaking if we're gonna do that. So the better way to do that would be to just kind of paste it onto Excel, and you could do any type of calculations there. Just remember that you could always copy paste any report content onto Excel or Google Sheet to do these type of calculations. But it would be really hard for us to like implement a lot of all these Excel functions on our reports. So yeah, a more reasonable approach would be to copy paste them onto Excel. Okay, so it's not supported yet. A reasonable workaround would be to copy paste the content into Excel and do calculations there. For the calculations. Yeah. Okay, so one from Ragic, another copy you edit in Word. So just yeah, yeah. I understand. You're trying to show that how you would like it to be colored. And hmm, well, that's something. That's also something for us for our development team to think about because, yeah, I can imagine would be a need for users to do like more UI customization to the reports. But right now we're trying to make the work, defaults to work as well as possible without doing any customization yourself. So, so yeah, and so there's two parts to this question. One is for the calculations part, like when you generate a report, you want to do calculations on the numbers. So for the calculations, it's unlikely that we support calculations on the report in the near future. So the simple workaround would be to copy paste the content onto Excel to do the calculations. But for the colors and column shading, let's see. For the column shading, we might support it in the future, but still, a quicker way to support this in coloring. Let's just say call it coloring. It's not supported yet, and the quickest way would be to paste it onto Excel and color it there. So, yeah. I could talk to our development team and see if we can have like sort of some theme or any type of customizations to a report. But honestly, I would not think this would be like really high on our development priorities because there are a lot of things that we think that we could do that would be really useful to our users. And another missing item is the ability to have a report date when printed. There's no report date. Interesting. Okay, a report date would be relatively easier for us to add. And we'll talk to development team for a report date on the report header. All right. Okay, well, I hope this answers your question. So, yeah, for feature suggestions, it's unlikely that I could say, oh yeah, we'll definitely do this and we'll finish it by like December 31st. So it's hard for me to make promises or guarantees right in the webinar, but we do welcome any type of suggestions, and we do need a lot of feedbacks from you guys to understand what type of features or enhancements that we should be focusing on. So it will be hard for me to guarantee it, but your feedback here is definitely heard, and we will take these into considerations when we're deciding on which new features to develop. All right, if you have any further questions on these suggestions, feel free to add them in the comment section or anywhere here. All right, next one. How to make Ragic obey the down or up arrow keys in complex sheets with multiple columns of fields, or set the data and enter on how there's a certain field order that you would like to specify. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So you would like to go like this. What? Okay, I found and understand how to order fields for mobile apps, so that's not the question. Yes, you could, because the mobile app, the fields are like one straight line, so you could just order them to make sure that the order are exactly as you would like them. But on the web, it's a 2D layout, so it's a bit more complex. So rather it has to do with, let me make this larger so it's easier to read for everyone. Okay, so rather it has to do with entering data using a browser. In the example attached, considering the red numbers, that's the order of the second column I want to enter the values. However, after items 3, 6, and 9, when you arrow down or press enter, arrow down or enter, it jumps to the left-hand column. Let's see. Oh, okay, because yeah, we think that there's no more fields here, so it jumps here. Okay. When you arrow down, pressing it jumps to the left. The form does not obey the down arrow command as expected to the field below. Is there a way to set the order of them or set a link on the fields and next in the chain? Well, for this kind of feature request, usually we really want to make the default behavior to be as natural as possible without any customization. And the order that this user specified kind of makes sense because if you have 1, 2, 3, if you go down, and it should be searching for the next field down instead of going to the left. So I do think that this, I think this could be a more natural order than going this here and here. So, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to enhance the field order for the down arrow and the enter button a little, and see if that works more naturally for most people. And unless that there are really like two groups of people that really needs two different types of field ordering, then we're gonna think about if we're going to add a UI for users to specify like the field orders, because for this kind of configuration, we do feel that there's like a very small number of users who's going to really configure their sheets in this kind of detail. Most of the users just use the default, so that's why we want to make the defaults work as well as possible. So yeah, I'm gonna see if we can kind of change the way that the field orders by default first, and see if that works better for everyone. Yeah, because it does look like the field ordering on your example is more natural than the default one if it goes to the left. Yeah. Kind of further processing needed. Yeah. I'm gonna talk to our development team on this. All right, and Phil, thank you for your suggestion. Yeah, I think this will be pretty useful for all our users. Okay, more information about your company. Can you provide more information about your company in general, such as brief background and history, how many employees you have, where your offices are based, etc.? Okay, well, I'll just finish the question. I think Ragic is amazing, thank you. And would be great if I could know more about you guys and see whether I could trust saving my company's confidential data on your product. Yeah, this is a fair question. Yeah, we get this a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna try to give you guys a little bit more background on our company. So our company is based in Taipei, Taiwan. So most of our staff is based in Taipei. We also have a small office in the US for some of our support and marketing staff. So basically, most of us are in Taiwan, and we have some people in the US to cover another different time zone and to help out in some sales and marketing for some sales and marketing issues. So so yeah, and our staff, we have around 30 people in our headquarters in Taipei, Taiwan, and our company has been around for quite a while. So we're not exactly a startup. So our company started in 2008. So we've been around for like 13 years to this date. So we've been working on this Ragic product for a long time, and yeah, so this is like a lifelong project for a lot of us. So and when we started Ragic all the way until today in 2021, we have never gotten any venture capital funding. So this is we bootstrapped our company all the way, and so which is a good thing for our users, because that we're not a company which is like burning cash. We need to get the next round or our company will run out of cash, because we've always been profitable, and we have grown kind of in an organic way, so that we are always profitable. We only spend the amount of money that we get from subscriptions. So we're a very financially stable company, and yeah, compared to other venture capital backed company, so our company would be a lot more. I would just say it's a lot more safer for your data, because it's less likely for a bootstrapped profitable company to go out of business than companies that tries to grow very fast with venture capital money. So, and also when comparing to a product from a big company like a product from Google, and still Ragic would be a more safer choice. The reason is that if you've used a lot of Google product or these products from big companies, they just, if their product is not doing very well or making enough significant amount of money for them, they're just gonna close the product. And for us, Ragic is our only product and a profitable one. So in the foreseeable future, we're just gonna work on it and make it as best as possible. So we don't have any big plans like to make other products or any other product lines. We plan on just make Ragic the best product possible. We do think that Ragic is a product that has a really high ceiling. So we really do wish that this is something that could be in every company. Everyone should have a copy of Ragic, or like a Ragic service to help them digitize all their workflows. We think that this is something that could be as useful and as common as having like Microsoft Excel in your company to help out with your data management needs. And Ragic as a database works a lot better for you to manage your data in comparison to like spreadsheet like Excel. Spreadsheets, they are for calculations, and Ragic is for data management. So yeah, in short, we're here for the long term. So I'm gonna just trying to give you as much background as I can regarding our company. So yeah, we're here for the long term, and we really do wish that you could trust our company with your data. And by the way, for your data, unless you have granted access for our staff to your database, and no one in Ragic can access your data. So there's no possibility for us to like sell your data or provide it to any third party. So that's kind of technically not really doable, because Ragic doesn't even have a database console backend. So yeah, so we're very, so we're really concerned about user privacy. So we have done quite a bit of, we have put in quite a bit of efforts on protecting your data and protecting your privacy and confidentiality of your data. All right. If you have any follow-up questions on, why you would like to learn more about our company, feel free to, let us know, or maybe we could talk about it on our next office hour. We don't need an answer date. Let me just change this. There you go. Yeah, I like making changes to the sheets during a webinar. There we go. Oops. Oh. Unanswered. All right. Do you offer design services? Is it possible to hire someone to design my database? How does it work and what's the price? I've been using your templates and it seemed very nice for my company. But if I need to create my own system, I'm not sure if I have the ability and the time to learn a new software from the beginning. Okay, so this is kind of also a pretty common question. So there's two parts to this question. So first is that yes, it's possible to hire someone to design your database, but Ragic, our company, does not provide this kind of design service. So if you need some kind of design service for Ragic consultants to talk to you, have meetings of you to understand your database requirements, and we will usually introduce you to one of our partner companies, because doing these kind of projects, they're kind of a specialized. They need some specialized skill. You need like project management people. You need some people who's good at analyzing your business requirements, who's good at designing these based on your requirements. And companies from different industry will need different partners who understand their field a little bit better to be able to design your applications more quickly. So we do think that design services is a specialized field. So it's not a field that Ragic should be engaged in, but we do have a lot of other partner companies who's really good at doing these kind of projects, and they all have their specialized industries and verticals that they're familiar with. So what we do is that we introduce you to our partner companies if you need partner companies to design the forms for you. And you could feel free to use the need help link at your top right, and to let us know what industry, what vertical you're in, and what kind of applications that you're designing. So we can introduce you to appropriate partners. Yeah, so we usually look at your requirements and see what vertical that you're into, so we can introduce a partner that has some experience in designing the applications that you need. Okay, so that's the first part to this question. But the second part is that we always try to remind our users that the best thing about using Ragic is that you have the ability to change your database, to adapt your database anytime if you know how to do that. And usually, if you design your own database, you will have a better understanding of the overall architecture of the forms that you designed it on Ragic, and you have taken the time to practice and have the skill to make modifications to your sheets. Because usually a good database system, it takes a while to perfect. It takes a while to make it really work well for your organization. The first draft, the first version, is usually kind of includes some fields that you doesn't need, includes some features that you doesn't need, and missing some of the features that you didn't think of. But once you started using it, and you think, oh, that would be nice to have, that would really help a lot. But with projects, you have to think of all your requirements before you actually start using your system. So it kind of worked against the Ragic principle, is that you could design your own database, be your own data expert, because as the person who understands your requirement the most, you are the person who's the best person, the most suitable person to design this database. And in the beginning, we really think that it's worth investing a little bit of time. You don't need to really need to invest a lot of time, like a couple of months. You only need to try to learn Ragic with one afternoon or a day or two the most. So if you spend an afternoon with Ragic, you'll get a pretty good understanding of how to build some basic application or some basic forms with Ragic, because the learning curve is not really that steep. So to make simple to intermediate forms on Ragic is really not that hard. So we want to suggest that everyone to kind of try to take at least a few hours to learn Ragic and see if that's something that the sheets that you could design them by yourself, because in the long term that could really be the best way, because a good database system takes time to develop, and you need to make changes, you need to tweak them when you're using a system. Yeah, and by having experiences designing Ragic systems in the future, like if you have new requirements, then if you have this kind of experience, it will be a lot easier for you to determine, oh, we could do this on Ragic, or oh, this could be kind of difficult on Ragic, because you already know how Ragic works. So yeah, please consider doing it yourself, because it works better in the long term. But if there's for any reason that you really need a design service from another company, or from Ragic, or maybe your application requires some scripting and you cannot avoid it, you have to have all those scripts to work, and you don't have any developers, then yes, you probably will need a project team to help you write these scripts. So if you need some people to design your application or write these workflow scripts, you could use the need help link, or you can send to support@ragic.com and ask us for referrals to partners. So we could usually refer you to some of our partners who's experienced in application development in Ragic. All right. I hope that answers your question. Okay, next one. Is it possible to link subtable data? Well, from the first question, it definitely sounds possible. There are a lot of ways to link subtable data. We have stored information of service purchase order, usually comes with positions for workers. We use that information for a timesheet. We would like to be able to link the purchase order, also select the position for the employee and link it to the timesheet. Is that possible? I'm gonna try to process what this requirement means. So you have a purchase order and a timesheet. I'm guessing that the purchase order is like purchasing service for workers. So maybe on the subtable, it might be like each line of the subtable is a certain work that the customer require for a certain service member from our company. So yeah, I do think this is possible. I'll just do a very short demonstration of what you might be referring to. So let me just create a demo tab and a demo sheet. So let's say service purchase. Okay. Well, before that, they want to link it to employee. So you select an employee and link it to a timesheet. Okay, that's still, yeah, that sounds possible. Let's try to do that. So that we first, first create a sheet for like a list of employees. Let's just create a very simple one. Is there a template for employees? Yeah, employees. All right, wow, that's a lot of fields. Anyway, okay, let's just say that we have a sheet for employees, and we create a new sheet for the timesheets. Timesheet for employees. Okay, so we now create a timesheet. I'm just gonna create it myself, like timesheet ID. So it should be auto-generate. And timesheet date. Okay, this is a date field. And usually for timesheet, there are like multiple line items, but let's keep it simple for now. So you choose an employee for this timesheet. So we use link and load to link and load an employee, so that this is the timesheet for this employee, and we just add maybe a work email for him, so that when you choose the employee for your timesheet, it automatically loads the work email, right? Oops, let's just upgrade the account. I should have upgraded before this. Well, anyway. Okay, so you create an employee sheet and you create another timesheet. I don't want to do the account upgrade here right now. So, okay, sorry. I'll try to answer it by describing how we can do this. So we can create another sheet for the purchase orders, and on the line items you could choose an employee, and you can also choose a line item. So you could do this kind of link and load to subtables. Let me just do a link without saving it. So maybe you're choosing from a question, so you could do link and load like this. Like you could just line up your fields horizontally like a subtable, and this is when you can then choose a question, and it loads the related fields to create a line in the subtable. So for subtable, you could almost do anything that you would like to do with linked fields on normal fields on a subtable. So you can always do any type of linking that you do on normal normal fields on the subtable. So you could do things like this to create new, like select a new employee for a new line, or select a new timesheet for a new line item on the purchase order. All right. Okay, so yes, you can. So usually you can, here are the ways. So usually you can add linked fields to subtable. Like I just did, you could add link fields to subtables, or you could do, there's another one you could do, is you can create a new sheet from subtable. Let me find the related document for this. You could create a new sheet from subtable. Create a new sheet from subtable, or you could add reference subtables. So that's another thing. Yeah, you could just take a look at the document. There's even a video there showing how that works. Okay, yeah. These are like the 3 basic types that you could do linking on the subtable. So whenever you need some linking in the subtable, you could think of any of those 3 types using link field in subtables, create a new sheet from subtable, or add reference subtables. Okay, next question is Ragic going to expand the help files with more examples of workflow coding? Yes, that's definitely something that we're working on right now. We are aware of our JavaScript workflow help files. They're not really incomplete, but they do lack a more complete sample code. And that's something that we're working on right now. So we do hope that, in the future when we have the new version of workflow script document, it would be helpful for all of our users. Yes, we are already working on that right now. Yes, stay tuned, and we'll certainly announce it on our pop-up announcements and in our Facebook pages. We'll let you know when it's ready, and we'll be ready for your feedback on how to make our new version of workflow samples and documents better. All right. It looks like, yeah, I've answered all the answers for today. So if you have any other questions, feel free to ask your questions on the webinar office hour sheet, and we'll be answering your questions on the next office hour webinar in 2 weeks. And we'll always and you can always find our past webinars in our YouTube channel. So you can always go to our Ragic YouTube channel to find recordings for the past webinars. All right. We do hope that this edition of Ragic Office Hour webinar is helpful for you, and if you have any other questions that you would think would be helpful for you or any other organizations using Ragic, feel free to come to this Office Hour question sheet and ask us. We'll try to answer your questions. All right. So if there's no more other questions, we'll talk in 2 weeks. All right. See you. Bye.